Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Danny Green. We have Mike Trudell down at Crypto.com Arena. The Lakers survived. They get the win. They are 14-2 in their last 16 games. And tonight, guys, they return to Crypto.com Arena after the long 6-game road trip. They played 6 games in 9 days. Listen, it wasn't comfortable at times, and Fish talked a lot about it with Billy on the broadcast. It's one of those nights where you come back from a long trip. You got dead legs. You're playing a young team that has nothing to lose, playing hard, and you just have to find a way to win. And that they did, James, and they holding on tight to that 3rd spot in the West.
Thank God they're holding on to that 3rd spot. You know, 2 of the toughest games to play. That last game on a road trip, depending on the significance of it, and then you come home, see your kids, see your wife, you sleep in your bed, you go to your barbershop, you get comfortable with being back home, and you don't let your guards down. It's just a natural reaction, which makes these games tough to play. I thought the Lakers did a really good job of keeping their head in. It could have gone the other way. Brooklyn, young kids auditioning, a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of second opportunities, the kind of game that you could lose, but they kept their head in there, and they won at home at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heavy round bout for 3 quarters. That 4th quarter just outlasted them. But like Big Game said, when you come home, it's kind of like a trap game, especially against a young team like that has nothing to lose, a little chip on their shoulder. A lot of those young guys want to prove themselves in contract years. And they made a lot of shots. They took a lot of threes, and they made some shots. They made a lot of threes. So the biggest thing is the Lakers have that veteran experience, got to the free throw line a little bit more, slowed it down. But in the 4th quarter, you know, they used that clutch experience to kind of, you know, take it away a little bit and get a little cushion later on in the 4th.
What a wild stat. The Brooklyn Nets with 96 field goal attempts.
A lot of attempts. To
the Lakers 70. Lakers obviously got to the line a lot more. I do want to start with Luka Doncic because the brilliance has been on display for the entire year. But when you look at what he's done in the month of March, and especially over these last 12 games, again, scoring his average in these 12 games, he got to 41. James, he had 24 at half, 5 of 10 from 3, had the 8 rebounds, the 3 assists, and he just continues to be able to do this every night.
It's almost like cruise controls. You know, you set your cruise control at whatever, 85, 90, it's going to stay there. And that's, I'm not saying his game is on cruise control, but his results are very consistent. And, you know, he's also, as we talked about a little bit in pregame, he's really picked it up defensively, too. So he's playing on both ends of the court. And the worst thing you can do is, you know, talk trash to him. I think somebody kind of talked trash to him a little bit there in the latter part of the game, and he lit him up immediately. So, yeah, he's an entertainer. He's a great player. He's a winner. And he's only, what, 27, Gator?
27. Yeah.
So he's just now, I mean, they say you start peaking around 27, 28, 29. So he's, you know, he's just getting to a point where he's dominating the game, understanding how to be a winner night in and night out. All the things that LeBron has, you know, learned over his career as far as being in shape, being ready, being available. Luka is really showing the consistency in those areas.
Wow. Danny, he's been here for a year.
Yeah.
And he already has 17 40-point games. You see where he ranks
right behind Bron.
in Laker history, right behind LeBron James, and he is going to continue to climb that list.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I said, he just keeps climbing the ladder. Obviously, Bron has been here 23 years. He's climbing all the other historic. But Luka, as a Laker, you know, he's climbing very fast for a guy that's only been here for a year. But like Big Game said, like, he's just consistent, night in, night out. He got hot. You don't want to make him mad. Things got chippy in there. You know, people talking trash to him. He did get a technical, so hopefully it gets rescinded. We won't know until later on. But if it doesn't, he might have to sit a game.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Hopefully that doesn't deter him or, you know, keep him off the track that he's on right now, because the train he's on, it's at a high speed right now.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Luka in a second. 16 technicals, so that means he misses the Wizards game. Big Game James.
Oh, the double technical.
Yeah.
It still counts. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully they rescind it.
Yeah. But
if not,
they already rescinded one, so I'm not sure if they'll rescind this one.
Probably due to miss a game anyway.
Yeah. So
this might be his last rescind if they do this. If they do rescind it.
Yeah. Or we just don't see him in the Wizards game, and he's fresh for maybe the Cavs.
Yeah,
all right. And by the way, he's already sitting down and he's talking to the media at the podium.
Good on him.
Luka, JJ had hinted before the game, just sometimes the first home game back after a long trip can just feel like almost an extension of the trip from an energy standpoint. How did you guys kind of find it in that fourth to separate?
Just trying to close the game. We know what we do down the stretch. Obviously, we didn't play well for 3 quarters, but then it was a good end of the quarter, so we won the game.
Luka, you scored 41 again. That's 2 straight 40-point games, 6 in your last 12. What's allowed you to not only reach this level, but sustain this scoring rhythm you've been in?
Good question. I mean, just playing my game, just trying to get downhill. Sometimes the three is going, sometimes not. Just trying to touch the paint, make plays, and see what the difference gives me.
Luka, you picked up your 16th technical again. What kind of happened on that play?
He was in my face 3 times. I just wanted to get out of there. It's a double tech, of course. What can I say? I didn't even talk. I just wanted to get out of there. They said my push was exaggerated, which was obviously not. And I don't know what else to tell you, man. It's
Luka, just the fact that you played through your hamstring and got through this game, got through this whole road trip, how do you feel like you need to approach these next 2 days of rest?
Teams guard us. They foul on every possession, and that's another team that fouls on every possession. And so you have to factor that in. You're tired and cranky, and you got to play through stuff. And I thought our guys, they managed it, and then we were. From a field goal percentage standpoint, we were over 50% for nearly the whole game. We just didn't get a lot of threes up and didn't make a lot of threes, and then we made 5 of our last 7, and that really opened things up for us.
What was your vantage point on the double tech that they called, and is that a process that you can appeal, like as you did the last one for Lucas Tech?
I'm sure we will appeal it. I'm not sure. I didn't see what happened.
The offensive rhythm that Luka's been in, what about it do you feel like is sustainable as the games matter even more down the stretch for playoff seeding and then the playoffs?
He's doing a great job of touching the paint right now for us, and that's been big, and not just for him to score, but also for him to collapse the defense. And I think that's when our offense is at its best when him and AR and LeBron in transition, when those guys can get in the paint.
Coach, Austin had 15 in the fourth, including I think 4 threes. How impactful was he tonight, late in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think again that's the made threes really opened things up. I know he hit the one at the end to put us up 17, but the other ones, they gave us a cushion, and it was a weird game for a lot of our guys because there wasn't a dead ball at the end of the first quarter, so AR had to play through his normal minutes, which then we had to take him out to start the second quarter, which we normally would have started him. So Jake's minutes got affected. We had to put Bronny in, even though he wasn't scheduled to be in, so that we had a ball handler on the court to start the second quarter. So then Vando's minutes got messed up, and then Luke's minutes got messed up. So maybe that had to do something with some of the crankiness. But again, I think AR just being mentally tough and playing through everything that was happening in the game, and just eventually found his rhythm, and I think that started with getting to the free throw line. It started with touching the paint and scoring on some of those non-rim paint twos.
JJ, there's been a lot that's been said about tanking this season, but Brooklyn has a late lead on you guys, and their starters don't play most of the fourth quarter. Do you have any thoughts on the competitive equity side of games like these?
Not really. It's out of my pay grade.
Yeah, I'm a Japanese press. I want to ask about the Rui Hachimura. What kind of impact Rui Hachimura gave to the Lakers team?
Here's what I know. We are now 42-18 when Rui plays, which is about a 57-58 win pace. So that tells you all you need to know. His ability to space the floor, his size. It's so important for our team and our rotation.
JJ, you mentioned playing Bronny today, despite not planning to. I know you obviously played him in Indy too, but talk about can I ask you about his faith, or your faith in him, and decision to play him today, and how he did? And
he was great today. If you want, I mean, again, I want to be respectful to your question. I gave a long soliloquy after the Indiana game. I'm sure you can find that, but he's always ready to play, and I, hit a big three when we were kind of things were getting a little wayward there in the second quarter with some turnovers, and I'm really happy with where he's at, and very confident in where he's going to be as a player.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. The big three production: Luka Doncic, AR, and LeBron. 41, 26, and 14. Out only at Los Angeles restaurants. Go Lakers and go Jack. Our friends from Arizona tomorrow are going to drive to Jack in the Box before they head out of town.
Taco Fridays.
Yeah. TJ and Stephanie, hopefully. All right, here's LeBron James with Mike Trudell in the media.
JJ kind of hinted before the game that sometimes the first game home from a long trip can almost feel like an extension, or like, yes, it's in your home gym, but how do you kind of push through fatigue as you've done throughout your career and just find it against a young team?
Listen, we got a game to win, and we got a game to play, so we give all the energy and effort that we had. I mean, it was a tough road trip for us in the sense of just the travel and the energy expended on that road trip, and JJ's right. I mean, he's been in this league. He played in this league for 15 years, I believe, so that first game back after a long road trip was always tough, no matter no matter what the competition, no matter what the record is. But we did a good job of settling down in the fourth, got some stops. AR, made some big shots, and was able to get the win.
Luka's been in some kind of offensive rhythm. How have you guys been able to kind of feed off what he's creating, and then also just ride the wave of the scoring that he's able to put up?
We're just playing our game. I mean, obviously he's the head honcho when it comes to our offensive power, and then it goes to AR, and those two guys they attract so many eyes, so much energy. But he's just in an unbelievable rhythm right now, shooting the three ball exceptionally well, getting to the line as he always does, and just being super efficient. So we're all just playing off of him.
It's the first time in all the games that you and Bronny have played the last couple of years where it's an assist from father to son.
Yeah.
You walk us through that moment and the feeling of getting in the scorebook that way.
Well, I mean, I think not taking for granted, and just being in the moment of us being on the floor once again. That's two games back to back. Playing meaningful minutes, and and him also making another play. Obviously they was making a run in that second quarter, and they did make a run in that second quarter. But just for me, I just always made the right play. I got doubled, and he was able to make fake the pass to the corner and then knock down the three. So definitely a cool moment, for us and also for our family.
We've seen his shooting in the G League really develop throughout the year, get to be a pretty consistent point. JJ hinted that as well. Like, we knew the athleticism, the defense was going to be there. How have you? I'm sure you've traced it pretty closely, but how have you seen his shot get to the point where he's so comfortable?
It's just getting back to where it was before the incident. He's always been able to shoot the ball. He's shot the ball at a high level, pretty much throughout his years of playing ball. So I just think just the confidence and the rhythm and just getting his strength back and his win and everything, everything is just coming back, like I said before the incident. So it's not surprising, to see him shooting the ball at a high clip.
You guys are about to have multiple days in between games for the first time since, I think, mid-January, outside the All-Star break, of course. Just how beneficial can that be, especially coming off of the long trip you guys
It's
had?
gigantic. We got to take full advantage of it for sure.
Before the game, JJ was talking about how Luka's kind of like the engine of the half-court offense, and you're kind of the engine of the transition offense. At this point in your career, just how much impact do you think you can have in terms of still making that transition, or leading the transition and leading the basket?
I think I'm leading the league in transition points, so it's something I can do, get out and run. It's something I've always been able to do throughout my life, playing this game. And like I said, Luka controls the pace offensively, in the half-court situation. And I just try to put pressure on the defense in the full-court situation and give us an opportunity to score before the defense is set. So it shouldn't be a problem.
LeBron, JJ has often talked about the building championship habits. What sort of habits do you think you and the group have shown during this stretch?
I mean, we had some adverse moments, obviously on the road trip. A couple in Houston in both of those games. Now, obviously in Orlando, Miami as well, Detroit as well, even though we lost that game, and also Indiana as well. I mean, we're a very resilient team. We understand how to execute late in the game, and we understand, you know, what the moment feels like. We don't shy away from it. So, you know, we want to continue to build these habits and going, you know, these last 8 games maybe, I think. But you know, continue to prep for the postseason.
Thanks, LJ.
8 games left, as LeBron just mentioned, and this is the first time they're going to have multiple days off between games. Obviously, there was All-Star break since mid-January. How important can this be for LeBron, obviously, and then this team, because they got the back-to-back coming up Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah, anytime you can get a couple days off for, you know, your key players who really need to rest, you know, LeBron, Luka, Austin, anybody who has little injuries. But you also, Geeter, you know, 2 days off, you probably want to spend some time in a good film sessions, you know, and, you know, maybe some walkthrough stuff on the court where you're not using too much physicality. But, yeah, 2 days off after a long road trip and before you get ready to go into back-to-back games, before you get ready to go into the playoffs, that's a good time to spend together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 7 games and 11 nights, something like that.
Yeah.
I call this, like, that first game home, I think it's more of like an extension of the road.
Yeah.
So it's like really 7 games on the road because it's one of the hardest games. And it was key clutch to win this before those extra days so you can actually kind of decompress, because you lose, you don't want to go into the break in that type of mode. And then also you feel like you have to practice, and you should still get some practice, but a different type of practice now. And you have some cushion and leeway with the other groups that are behind you. So,
let me ask you this, Danny, because the Lakers are going to be above the line. They're going to be in the playoffs. So you're going to have that natural 4 or 5 day break when the season ends.
Yeah.
How hard are you pushing here in these 8 games so you can secure that home court?
I mean,
in terms of resting guys or just keeping that pedal down?
We spoke about it before the game some. It was like these games here were supposed to be the games where you
could rest,
supposed to jump early on them and rest some of those guys. But the games that I would take serious, the OKC, like the games that I feel like are teams above 500, those are playoff-like tests, and you need to see where you're at. But outside of that, I don't know what the rest of the schedule looks like, but half of those games I feel like you can kind of take your
You got OKC twice, you got the Cavs, you got the Suns and the Jazz, you got Dallas, you got some teams in there, and you got the Wizards. So
yeah,
I mean,
Jazz, Dallas, you get out early. If you take care of business the way you're supposed to, you should be able to rest. But Suns, you know, Cleveland, OKC, those are games you should.
And if you could just push for the next week, really, you should be in a position where even those last couple games, you could.
You got days off right now.
Now you're talking a week off.
And you got some more days after it, so you should be fine.
All right. Austin Reaves came on.